Hi, it's Ingrid from Quiltessential Co and it's block of the month time again. This is October's block. It's been a beautiful September, the best I can remember ever. So we're just going to get into sewing and not worry about the frost that may or may not come. So this is our block. I also designed this month something to do with 2 fat quarters. I love fat quarters. So I designed, you can either make a long runner. It's got 2 fat quarters and linen fabric. The linen is so beautiful to work with. So this will fit actually right away along my dining room table. Or you could make a set with the same 2 fat quarters and linen. You could make a set with a short runner with 4 placemats. So you've got a couple of options there, and I will put this pattern on our website with a PDF download format, or you can pick it up at the store. So I'll be doing that right away. So now we're going to go and cut our block. So we're going to cut our block out. First of all, we're starting with A and B, and on A and B we need to cut a 2-inch strip off the edge first. This was wider before, so we're going to cut 2-inch by 4 1/4. And then the rest of it's a 3 1/2-inch strip. Exactly the same for B. Cut a 2-inch by 4 1/4, and then the rest of it you're going to cut into a 3 1/2-inch strip. Easy for C, 3 1/2 inches, and easy for D, 4 3 1/2-inch squares, and then for E, just 4 little 2-inch squares. And now we're going to sew. So here we have A on the bottom right side up. Put B right sides together with A, so you'll have the wrong side of it looking up at you. You're going to be using your Jaybird Sidekick ruler as normal, and we are going to be using our little orange instructions. So we're cutting half square pieces or half triangle pieces. Make sure it's nice and straight over here. Put your 3 1/2-inch line on the top, and you're going to cut your pairs. And all you're going to be doing when you're doing this is cut a pair, rotate the ruler, put your 3 1/2-inch line and the edge line back on it, rotate your ruler, and cut those out. I think some of you are getting quite familiar with this. Some of you are also doing Nebula, which is a quilt along or coming up. So I think you'll get some good practice. So these are your side pieces. Now you're going to take your C, and with C you're going to be using your red instructions, and we're going to be using the Sidekick ruler again, and we're cutting out the 60-degree triangle. I kind of cheat a little bit, so I cut my straight edge off the side. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, flip it over, but I just like to cut it off like this. And then you're going to be putting your ruler on here, and 3 1/2-inch on the top. Keep this nice and straight on the side, and you'll just go straight along here and keep flipping your ruler and cutting out your pieces. You'll get 4 out of this. So once you've got those, you are going to be taking your A and your B pieces and putting them together and sewing them on either side of C. The easiest thing to do, it doesn't matter which one you start with, but put them together so you can see how they look. And when you put these together, make sure that you line up on the side here so it's nice and straight on your triangle here and here. There should be a tiny triangle here and a tiny triangle underneath. You're going to sew down here and press, and then sew the other side. So I'm going to sew these and come right back. So you've put your one side triangle onto C. When you put the second one on, make sure it lines up on the side again. You should have a tiny little triangle here. Triangle is going to be lined up with the triangle below it right here, and you sew down. And you're going to press both of these away from C. Now it is 3 1/2 inches tall, but it's a little wide on each side. I'm sure you remember that from some of the other months. So I usually take my quick trim ruler, and there's a white line right in the center of the quick trim ruler. That's the 3 3/4 mark. So I make sure it's on 3 1/2. 3 3/4 mark lines right up with my little triangle, and I'm going to cut a little piece off each side. So one side, two sides. If you have a regular ruler, just 1 3/4, cut it off on both sides from center. So here's the center part of your block that's like this, and you're going to do those to all 4. Now you're going to take the other A and B that you had before. These were the 2-inch little strips. Sew them together, press them to A. And I have already straightened up one side. You're going to take 2 inches and you're going to cut 2 2-inch units right out of this. And you will then be sewing these back together. And because you press them to A, when you place them together and put them back here, you're going to have a really nice little join in the middle here. And you make sure you sew from the top down. These two will nest really nicely together because you're actually sewing and pushing those seams together. So that will give you a little forepatch for the center. So when I show you the block right here, you can see that you've now completed the 4 of these. You have completed your forepatch in the middle. You just have to do your D and E's on the side. And as normal, we got a couple of choices for doing these. You put the D and the E right sides together in a corner. You can either mark the diagonal across from point to point, sew on that, trim it, press it, or you can take your folded corner clipper, put the 2-inch mark right on there, cut this off, sew right down, flip it back, and here you go. You've got your block. Put them all together, press them the way I told you, and you're ready to go. Well, folks, if you found this video useful, please leave us a like and click subscribe for future content. We've only got 2 more months before we start again and have a new topic, and you know I'll be ready. This has been Ingrid from Quiltessential Co, and thanks for sewing with me today, and we'll see you soon.